Hey, everybody. Good Sunday morning. Welcome to the channel. Uh, Quick update here on our next build project. I was thinking, kind of which way to go, what direction to go in after the Blue Max tribute build, the two funny cars we just finished on the Blue Max. And I said, well, I guess what better way than to segue into the next build with uh, the Blue Max Racing, one of the Blue Max Racing cars. And those of you who are familiar with NASCAR and um, drag racing are familiar with the fact that Raymond Beadle, the Blue Max driver and owner, uh, actually before he quit driving funny cars, bought a NASCAR team or was a team owner. And I think this was I believe this is, I'm not real up on his NASCAR history as much as I should be, but Tim Richmond, I believe, was his first driver. And this was the 84 Pontiac Grand Prix, Old Milwaukee, that he drove for Raymond Beadle. And I believe after that, Rusty Wallace drove for him. And I think they actually won a championship. I think Rusty's first championship was driving for Raymond Beadle, and then I think they parted ways after that. He and Rusty didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things, so they parted ways. And so anyway, that's what we're going to build next. I figured that would be kind of a pretty neat segue, and I need to up my NASCAR collection a little bit, get my NASCAR collection back up. I had a fairly large amount of NASCAR cars that I had built way back in the 80s and 90s, actually the 80s more than the early 90s. And after my son was born, I kind of slacked off. And where I used to live in Nashville, uh, when the tornado that came through downtown Nashville, you may or may not remember it, in 96, a tree fell. And I had a lot of my model stored outside in a metal shed that we had out behind our house. And a tree fell on the shed and then demolished a whole lot of my models that I had stored. So a lot of my NASCARs were uh, destroyed in that. So I've got to get it back up, the collection kind of back up to where it was. I've got a long way to go. So the Salvino JR cars makes that possible. And so we're going to pick and choose the kind of the ones we want to build. So that's what we're going to do next. And then probably we're going to switch gears a little bit, no pun intended, and we're going to probably do an Indy car. I've got a couple of old Indy cars kits that I have had for a while, and just came across them, or I had them put up. And I'm not a huge IndyCar fan, but I like those cars. Those are neat little kits. The old AMT kits that came out late 80s, early 90s. I had a couple of those as well that got smashed in that same tree fall. And so we're going to build a couple of those too. And then got kind of a little, it's not really a special project, but one of those little kit bashing things we're going to do, and I'll give you more details on that. That one's going to be kind of more of a little drawn out thing. We'll talk about that more in another video. So, but we're going to do the Blue Max Racing Pontiac Grand Prix driven by Tim Richmond. Those of you who are familiar with NASCAR know Tim was a good driver. He was kind of a party guy, and we won't get into all that, but he sort of paid for that party lifestyle, with his life, really. And real shame. He died, very early in life. And so if you want to, you can look that up on your own. I'm not going to get into all that. So that's what we're going to do next. And hope everybody's doing well. Been watching your videos. A lot of good builds going on out there. Stay safe during this heat wave. If you are in the middle of it, you probably are. If you probably anywhere on from the east of the Mississippi River, and being way up north doesn't spare you this time. You're getting it just like all the rest of us are. So we hadn't had any rain here in about 10 days. So my grass is walking across my front yard. It's kind of like walking on potato chips. Crunches when you walk. So we could use some rain for starting. They say today we should have maybe some thunderstorms pop up, but it's going to have to rain a whole lot to help my yard. So, all right, that's enough of that. So we're going to get started on that. We're going to paint this in MCW Model Car World red. It's called Rally Red. Enamel paint will be the paint we're going to use on this, and we're probably just going to do it just box stock. These kits look good. They don't need a lot of extra detail put in them. They look, nice. They're going to be sitting on my shelf. I'm not going to take them to a show or anything. And so we're just going to do this box stock. And I never have really dressed up my NASCARs. I may break that habit and jump in and do some wiring, spark plugs, and the spark plug wires, and that kind of thing maybe down the road, but for now we're just going to do them box stock. All right, that's enough of that. Take care of one another. Take care of one another. Don't take any crap from anyone.